Welcome to Tech Talk Friday, and guys, welcome. It's another Friday, 7 p.m. GMT plus 8 here in Asia. We're excited because once again we've got a show for you, and our guest is here. We've got our guest in the studio already. We have Khalid Gibran joining us shortly. But before we start, as always, we will always invite my co-host and good friend Karamjit Singh. And today we'll try not to insult him so much. Um, we will talk a little bit to the beard in a bit. So Karam, welcome to the show. We like to hear your voice. So say hi, Karam.
Aren't you my co-host? And why do you
maybe
say
not.
I'm your co-host, right? So you are Marcella.
Hey, whatever. And today we are both dressed in red, but I'm wearing my football jersey. Um, so um,
I'm wearing the Liverpool red.
okay, man, there you go. So he's behind Salah, and sebab Salah dia itu sebab Salah got COVID, you know. So
Hey,
blame
you got
Karamjit.
COVID? I didn't know, lah.
Yeah, he's got COVID. So whenever there's a problem, blame Karam, right? So all the problems of the world is either Karam or Perikatan. So that's kind of how we kind of tune blame to. Now we've got a guest today, Karam. You talk us through our guest today.
I saw Khalid Gibran. I have actually not met him before, and I shared in on my LinkedIn also when I was promoting today's guest, him as our guest. Spoken to him over the phone 3 times or 4 times, and really, I think you had a conversation with him before this, and I deliberately didn't come on early because I wanted the two of you to bond a bit. So he's really a bubbly, a dynamic, vivacious, a character.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what struck me about him, and I've never had anybody tell me this before, Roshan, during our most recent conversation, he said something. He said this line. He said that I want to live life 10x, right? So he was telling me a lot of things. So when we hung up with the conversation, I just leaned back on my chair, and that was the thing that struck me. Wow, he wants to live life 10x. And the only other person I know who kind of talks like that is actually you. If those of you who have Roshan's, you have Roshan's mobile number, you check his WhatsApp, and he says living life to the fullest. Now, for all of us normal folk, which means the whole planet, aside for these two people, you know how hard it is to even escape the mundaneness of life, right? Your day-to-day responsibilities, you get caught up in things and all. And so, for Khalid to say that was amazing. It's a very bold statement of intent. And the point is that you leave yourself a huge drop, when you say like that, and then you look back one day and say, shit, I didn't do it, right? Or I achieved X, 1x or 0.2x or 0.2x. So that's the kind of person he is. And he's an old economy guy. His business is super high touch, right? He and his partner used to travel so many countries around the region and do literally roadshows on the floor of department stores or supermarkets, right? To help drive sales to their client. And suddenly COVID happened and the world became more digital, and he managed to adapt, so amazingly well. So it's exciting to get him on the show.
Yeah, no, and I was just talking to him. He's 49 years old, and he's a traditional guy who's transitioned to become a digital person.
Exactly.
So I think that's exciting to hear. And
it
speaking of
gives
this,
hope to everybody, right? Gives hope to everyone. Traditional transition.
I think, and I want to say this, I got the quote, like not just living life to the fullest, but there's a quote by Helen Keller, and I don't know if you know Helen Keller. She was born blind, mute, and she had all these disabilities, but she said something very profound, and to me, she's one of my favorite women. She said this, life is either a daring adventure or nothing, right?
Wow.
And she said, make your life a daring adventure. And when I was 12 years old, 13 years old, right, I read this, right? And I said, this is my quote, right? This is my quote. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. So for me, it's like, I'm going to live a daring adventure, and I'm going to make my life a daring adventure. So with that, let's bring in Khalid Gibran, the exciting guy who's living life to the fullest. Khalid, welcome to the show. And before Karam goes into technical mumbo-jumbo questions, I want to ask you something, because I'm also about your age. I shall not reveal. I have a little bit more hair than you, so that's a little bit more. So I've got a little bit more years before it becomes like you, but I'm hanging on in there with a little bit of hair that I have. But one of the things I find very fascinating is, similar to me, I'm a GE guy, and working in GE, and people say I have a nice, Dato Nora says I have a nice T, See, and
She
Darren,
referred to mine lah. Don't be so thick-skinned lah.
you're not wearing okay, fine, okay, Dato'
Sorry,
Farhan,
I think she's talking about my T-shirt.
Oh, there you go.
there you
Really,
go. Okay,
Roshan,
all of
you and me are full of ourselves lah. We have
we have
been exposed. We are full of ourselves.
Stand
Thank
up.
you, Khalid, for bringing
before
us down
Karam
to
goes
earth. You're
into
right.
these technical questions, I want to ask you. You know, I think it's hard. A lot of people are struggling transitioning from the traditional mindset of, my business is like this and this is the way I run my business, to being able to run digital business, because it's a complete different shift. I'm learning A/B testing. I'm learning a whole bunch of things that, for the life of me, I just finished a class where I was teaching 20-something-year-olds about A/B testing and how to use Mailchimp and Send in Blue, and here's how you target people and so on. I'm doing this teaching, and they're like, you old man trying to teach us this, and my conversation with you is very similar. You had to make that transition too. Talk us through that transition a bit, because I think it's very interesting to some of our more older, wiser, full of wisdom, hairless people like us.
Okay. Hey, guys, thanks again. I think two greats, brilliant wordsmithing. I mean, I love to listen to this sort of stuff. And bubbly, vivacious, my God, Karam. Okay, no one's ever called me that, but okay, I'll take that. And 49 years old, Roshan, not talking to you anymore on the show. Okay, guys, just in terms of the transition, an oldie kind of trying to get into the youngsters game, it was just simple. It was quite organic, and I've always, I mean, this is my eighth business, and I've always started businesses whereby I am in the mode of serving, right? So when you serve certain needs of a certain group, then that becomes business, right? So when you have that mindset, I think anything's possible. So the way it started was COVID happened. We're actually, our business is B2B, traditional, kitchenware. Through promotions, we supply this to hypermarkets. Giant, Aeon Big, Tesco, this sort of stuff regionally. So it was all, spend 30 ringgit, collect some stickers, and then get the item out of a collectible range, right? That was our game. So if you ever see that in a 7-Eleven or Giant, that's us, right? So from there, during COVID, no one wants to touch anything. Everyone was really thinking about essentials, right? You call all these CEOs of whoever, Giant or Tesco, and they're going, Khalid, mate, we're just really busy trying to get shit organized, right? So for essentials and so on. So the promotion took a sort of a backseat, and at the same time, it's a personal story. I don't know whether you guys read it on my website, but the personal story is simple. The maid left the Philippines just in February. So while we were looking for a maid, the missus got pregnant with my fifth kid, right? That's 5, living life 10x.
Nice. You're productive man.
You're halfway there. Okay, now I know what the 10x means. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah. So and the missus sort of, she's a great cook, but not one you would find in a kitchen, right? So it's like Diwali or Christmas, once a year she might pop into the kitchen. So I was the chosen one. So I had to cook. I've never cooked in my life before, and I can boil water, maybe boil an egg, but that's it. So what happened was I had to get into the kitchen and started watching Jamie Oliver, the likes, the F guy, and all that, and started picking up cooking, right? So I really enjoyed it, and I when I started cooking, I started looking for utensils. And we actually, for the last 14 years, we've been supplying kitchenware utensils, right? High quality kitchenware to big hypermarkets. But I've never used my stuff, right? I talk about it, and I know everything about it, the features, benefits, but no experience, right? So this is the first time I'm experiencing it. And I said to myself, shit, this is good. Looked at some of the marketplaces, we know their names, and look at some of the interesting kitchen shops. Things were expensive, right? All things were of poor quality, right? Poor quality, it'll go off in a month, right? But I found my things, my kitchenware of good quality, and we source in hundreds of thousands, right? If you do a promotion with a hypermarket in Malaysia, we give away 120,000 pieces of cookware within a period of 12 weeks. That's massive, wow. Right? So, our sourcing is fantastic. That's our strength. So when we source that sort of stuff, we can offer it at a really, really good price. Then I talked to my mates. I put a few photos up here and there, and they go, "Hey, shit, we started cooking as well. We're enjoying cooking, baking, and all that." Then we got this thing. A friend of mine cut and pasted this quote from Commerce.Asia that published 880% increase in sales with cookware and bakeware. Then I called my business partner Gary and I said, "Mate, I think we need to serve. We've been called to serve. Every crisis, I believe, is an opportunity. Don't get me wrong. It's an opportunity to serve, right?" So we had kind of
saying that at up to that point, the two of you were just, "Hey guys, we got to wait for COVID to be over to resume our business," right? Oh my goodness, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had no clue, and hey, I had if you look at me in March on my if you look at my Facebook page, I had three friends. Not that I don't have any friends, but on Facebook I had 3 friends, and on Instagram I had about 4, right? And that's it. And I'm a non-believer, right?
Okay,
right? I always believed it's a waste of time. So
Okay.
I told them, shit, you're just wasting your time looking at these things. So anyway, that's when we said, okay, it's a call to serve again. Let's give home cooks an experience, a great experience, right? But I think times were bad as well. And again, we believe that professional kitchenware makes a difference. Karam, do you cook?
In university, to survive, I had to eat, I had to cook.
He has cooked a Maggi mee once, I think, in the last 10 years.
No. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, knows that I survived university cooking 4 dishes.
Roshan, do you cook?
Not much lah, but yeah, I mean I can cook lah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a passionate home cook now, and you need good equipment, and then your experience becomes a pleasurable one. And we also found out that home cooking meant the secret ingredient or the secret sauce is in there, which is love, right? And it's the togetherness of family. Sorry to sit together, all of that, right? So all the bonding and so on. So all this put together, we said, we need to take our kitchenware to the home cooks out there, right? Mm-hmm. And then we said to ourselves, how could we do it, right? So it's not about, when I said to you, Karam, I love social media, I just didn't say it because, I can play with it and like and follow and all that sort of stuff. But it's a means to an end, right? At that point in time, we still believed in serve. Right, the big thing, service. So we found a need in the market, massive need, and we wanted to serve. We had the strength in our business, the current business, so sourcing, expertise in kitchenware, all of that. We had the stocks. So all we had to do now was find out how quickly, how efficiently, and how appropriately we could deliver our product to the needy, right, to the home cooks. So this is where, the big whole thing about online came about. So it's actually a means to an end. It's not that I got into social media suddenly because I had nothing to do at home, but it was that need to serve. And what's the best way to get it there, right? Is it a bullock cart or a rocket, right? Of course.
So you set up this whole thing in the last 6, 9, 8 months?
No, it's only in August.
In August. Wow.
Sorry. So sorry. So the inception in our heads came about in about April, right? Took us about 6 weeks to get the Shopify e-com developed, the website and so on, the online shopping portal, and then we launched in July. So this is month 4, right?
Okay.
Right. So this is where it all started, man. And again, what I'd like to say to people out there in their young 40s. Like myself and Karam, of course. Roshan, I'm not sure about you. I'm still upset with you for revealing my age.
I'm about your age, so I'll stop short of that.
Right. So I'd like to say that it's if you've got the mindset right, the belief and the mindset, right? Again, during a crisis, I've always believed. I went through SARS as well, and I started a business then in Hong Kong. I was right in the middle of SARS. And it's all about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely. You've got to believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel, right? If you just believe it's a long freaking tunnel, you ain't going to make it. So it's all about means to an end. So you identify the current strengths in your business or in yourself, and then see where you can, how you can serve the needy using your strength, right? That's all we did. It's
Yeah.
nothing to do with online. Suddenly we went from offline to online. People love to say that. That's not
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
but
before Karan, before we go there, you got so many comments coming in. I just need to recognize a
okay.
couple of them. So Darren says hi. David says good to hear and listen to great panelists. So Karam, you're a panelist now. Remember, according to David, you're a panelist. So let's keep it that way. David says I'm a big cooking and my cooking story fan. Again, I don't know why Jatsu says lineup. Okay, we have a lineup, right? Dadanora continues, being digital is a given regardless of age, which is true. And then we have a whole bunch of people like Magat saying thumbs up. These are Facebook thumbs ups that are coming in. Sashi says he wants to have 5 kids too. It's his dream. So Sashi, go to Khalid. He'll teach you how it works. Here's how to manage 5
Sorry,
kids.
Russian, just of course, typical youngster, right? Picks the rock
Yeah.
and the stick. Oh my God.
The 20-year-olds that want 5 kids, and then once they have the first kid, they're like, ooh, let me think about this. Lots of highs and lots of Hidok, Bosku. I don't know who's Bosku. I think it's Karam, right? Yip. Karam, are you Bosku in this show? I think so.
No. I think somebody must remind him of Najib lah.
I don't know, Khalid. Are you a replica of reminder of our ex prime minister? So Karam, I know you want to ask a question.
I got a question.
Talk about this mindset thing one more, just a little bit, and maybe not so long answer, but just me in about 30 seconds to a minute. What were obstacles that you may have been blocking you? Because I think for a lot of people, when they think digital, first they think it's very easy, and then when they go in and they suddenly realize, goodness, it's not as easy. There's no traction. It's a lot of hard work. There's significant investments that's needed. It's not, I just transition and boom, Zoom, using Zoom and I'm digital. It's not as easy it is. But, as you made the transition, I'm sure there were hurdles and obstacles. What were some of them and how did you overcome them to keep pushing forward and ultimately enable your shop to thrive?
Okay, so the first thing is, you keep kind of, I suppose, directing me into an area where I'm no good, which is technology, right? My thing's got nothing to do with technology, mate. So the first hurdle was my friends, right? So as soon as I had this,
well-meaning,
sorry,
well-meaning friends, right?
Well-meaning friends, yeah. seriously, well-meaning.
Or some ex-friends now, maybe.
No. You know the story, right? You just call them and go, guys, and these are freaking 45 to 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
What? You're going to go online? Shit, man. Oh, there's so many cookware. People are selling, the marketplaces are there, the 2 big marketplaces. You're going to drown, mate. Don't waste your money. And you need a lot of money to do this. So that was my biggest thing. But it wasn't a hurdle, right? Because, again, believe, I would not be an entrepreneur if I heard... I just listened to that one guy, who said, "Man, Khalid, let's do it." This was my business partner, Gary, and he's my Chinese brother, and this is why we've been married to each other for 14 years.
Well done,
right?
Well done.
I've had 3 marriages personally, but professionally only 1 marriage, right? That's so man, that was the biggest thing, right? Biggest thing. There's so many people to say to you, "Don't do it," right? So the second thing was, once I understood that the medium, the communication medium has to be something different, something that I never believed in before, I had to dive in. I'm thankful to some of these gurus that are out there, and these summits that happen, Digital World Summit, all that, and from Winston, hats off. So I immersed 60 hours. So if you saw me during COVID, I've got an apron on. I don't like to wear. I'm topless usually at home. I've got an apron on. I've got this hands-free.
Details, but never mind.
Sorry. Okay. Hands-free on, and I'm walking around with a spatula, with a frying pan, and 60 hours of learning, right? Social media learning. And I don't want to scare the our age people, the traditional guys, by saying you've got to learn it, but at least you've got to understand, because when you talk to a social media guy, they talk about social media, Facebook, how many followers, how many likes. But I, as a businessman, I look at the angle, I look at the business angle, I look at the practicality or the usage of that in serving my customer. It's as simple as that. It's a different pair of glasses. But in order to put those glasses on, I need to first know what Facebook is and what's Instagram, what's TikTok, all of that sort of stuff. So that's the second thing. I wouldn't, again, call it a hurdle, a challenge to be overcome. I mean, as you know, every problem is not just there because there's always a solution around the corner. So I'm the guy who looks for the solution, right? So it's not a hurdle. So
why didn't, was there another one? No. Okay, two things.
Two.
So why most people with your skill set will say that the technology you hire, right? So you can build a website very easy, or all these website templates are already ready, right? You can create something, hire someone to get it done for you, and you can hire a digital agency to do the marketing aspect. But you decided to do it yourself, and I think you are proving also that if you are smart enough and if you immerse yourself, you can pick up the basics of digital media. And because there's so many webinars going on which are for free, right? This is the best time to pick up knowledge also. So you self-learn and you didn't rely on someone, although you could have. So that's kind of different. Most people would have done it the other way. So why did you decide I want to do it myself and not take the easy way of hiring someone to do at least the digital media and the website also?
Okay, very interesting question, Karam. And I'm a big believer in strengths, right? So giving power to strengths of people, because every single person has different strengths, right? I never do things that are not core strength. I never attempt it. I never do it. In our business, in our company, we've got a small team. The reason why we've got a small team in-house is because we are focused in what we do best. Everything else we outsource. But now again, let me tell you this. Of course, my website was built by someone else who's an expert, who's a good mate of mine. And social media ads is someone else is doing it. But then again, in order for, how can you direct as a leader? How can you direct these people? How can you captain a team, a football team or soccer team, when you don't even know anything about soccer, right? The coaches are not necessarily the best players, right? We all know that. So, but the coaches are those who can bring the best out of players. In order to bring the best out of players, you've at least got to know the rules, right? If you don't know the rules, what the heck? So I have outsourced a lot of elements, but again, just today, I was talking to my ad agency, right? They said to me, Khalid, you've got 4.26% ROAS, return on your ad spend, right? And I go, oh, so why is it just 4%? Why isn't it 10%? Then they said, Khalid, CTR, we are double average. Unbelievable.
Yeah, easily. More than that, yeah.
1% is average. We are 2.11. And I'm going, so why aren't we 4%? So next month it's going to be 4%. Go back, think about how we can do 4%. So definitely, I mean, if you are passionate about the people that you serve, you want to get things to them most effectively, most cost effectively, and in the most efficient manner, right? But you've got to guide it. You've got to be the coach. You've got to captain the whole thing, or else it's not going to work out.
These are knowledge. Okay. All right. Now, one more thing is, why did you, for people out there, so your story is quite straightforward in a way that your own economy, you've got domain name, you've got domain expertise, you've got the relationship supply chain, right? It's the same product. You're just going to a different platform, but then you also say address a community need, right? And you went in there, and that's why you're on your site. There's a lot of videos also, and you're telling stories. So you're selling your thing through stories, right? But also you mentioned earlier in passing that why didn't you use one of the two existing platforms? Why go on your own, right? Why not just write on Shopee, Lazada, or Alibaba, Taobao, right? Something.
Okay, you said the names, I did not, right? For the record. Okay, so guys, again, interesting question. Again, I've never sold anything in my life. And I've never set up businesses to sell products, right? So the promotion business, we were actually serving retailers gain an ROI, return on investment, right? So that was one. With the current business, we're actually serving home cooks. We're the haven for home cooks. Everything a home cook needs to make their life pleasurable, you can find it at mycookingstory.com, right? So now, I am actually, I've coined this new term, right? I don't know whether it's correct, whether you've heard it before. I call it targeted marketplace.
Targeted marketplace. Okay.
I'm not a marketplace. I'm a targeted marketplace, right? Where you can find anything and everything to do with cooking, home cooked food, home cooked ingredients, kids cooking, kitchen interior decoration, cooking classes, you name it. this is where I'm going. This is where we are going, right?
Wow,
It's
you're
a
broadening your scope, right? Interesting. Wow.
Now, so again, broadening my scope, it's a different language. I'm trying to serve my customers, my target audience, every which way possible, right? So, yeah.
But online has enabled you to be more ambitious. If this was still offline, you would have stuck to cookware, right? You're now moving beyond cookware, which is why I'm saying you're trying to get a bigger share of wallet of the customers also.
Yeah.
To put it a bit
Interesting.
crudely, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you are crude, and I'm not
Learned
a
it from Roshan, yeah.
uh, he's been pretty quiet. Roshan, I hope I didn't offend you there. It's okay. I'm 49. Okay, the kitchenware. I'm not a kitchenware salesman. I'm not a kitchenware salesman. I'm the guy who gives the best cooking experience for home cooks. So
And I think that,
sorry.
yeah, and I think that's very interesting because it's targeted marketplace, and it's about the experience. Because I'm looking at some of the comments that are coming out. Cooking is on my to-do list from Ranganathan. But here's what's interesting. Adam Han says lots of unbelievable offers from my cooking story. So you've
Hey, Adam
got,
is not one of your staff, right? I'm sensing a subtle sales pitch here, man. Yeah?
Okay. Now, okay, that comment is a very valid comment. It's very important, right? Bottom line is, once you've actually got the targeted market, you're fulfilling a need, you can't just chuck anything at them. You need to offer value. In my definition, value represents three things: price, quality, and relevance. As simple as that. So that's what he's probably talking about, unbeatable offers.
Okay.
Meaning, relevant, it's apt, it's excellent quality, and you've got we coined the word bestest price.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple more questions coming. I'm going to take this because time's running out. Khalid, your business, you're handling it from A to Z. You mentioned sourcing, so marketing, operation. Are you also delivering to your customers those kitchenware?
Okay, interesting question, Jesu. Okay, interesting name. Very, very interesting question. Again, I'd like to highlight that we in our business, we only do what we're experts in, right? We don't touch things that we have no clue about. We don't have any clue about fulfillment in the e-commerce world. So we use, an external partner who's a strategic partner, and they do the fulfillment for us, right?
Nice. Okay. So it's not an end-to-end line. It's essentially this. There's a question here, from Bunhor. I guess, how much is the startup investment? I mean, I guess more interested in, if he were to start something, what was the thing? I mean, was it costly to set up the whole thing?
How much for you to get going? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just such a broad question. I mean, seriously, look, it's not an appropriate answer. I mean, you wouldn't get an appropriate answer from me. It wouldn't be fair because I already had a warehouse full of kitchenware, right? So what I did, pick a fraction of it, put it to online, right?
Yeah. But I think the interesting perspective is that you had a warehouse of the traditional way of selling cookware and hard, kind of cooking hardware. But you decided to move digital, but not really digital. You decided to create experiences, and that's why I like this thing, the cooking story, right? Which I think is very fundamental to understand. When you make a transition to a new business model, it's not about moving channels from a selling hardware channel to a online selling channel. It's actually trying to understand the market and trying to create that new environment. So it's essentially a new business, at least that's my understanding of it. I hope I got that right, Khalid.
And the key part also, not just new business. I think when I was talking to Khalid once, he mentioned, you haven't brought it up, I think, Roshan, he also realized that a lot of people have lost jobs, right? Or they're underemployed. And I think he told me that they suddenly realized that some people are talented cooks, right? So they absolutely now are fired up with the fact that their platform allows talented cooks, right, to showcase their skills and earn a living also, right? You mentioned like an analogy like Grab. So Khalid, talk about that, how that has fired you all with a higher sense of purpose.
Yep.
So there are two things I live by. One is serve. I'm a believer in God, so serve. Second is help, meaning help the community. So at that point in time, with COVID and so on, I think the numbers, I don't know, I get it from the media, 2 million unemployment, recessions around the corner. And again, lots of my mates, working now part-time, less hours, lost their jobs. I mean, these are CEOs we're talking about, pilots, air hostesses. So put all that together, right? So what we decided was, we decided that we need to involve them, right? Now there are shitload of home cooks, like shitloads, like loads, right? But a small team at My Cooking Story can't service all of them. And if we really want to serve needy, we've got to get out there, right? Speed or time to market is also important. It's got to be timely, right? So this is where we realized, okay, we've got a bunch of people that have lost their jobs, right? And here we've got a massive demand. So why not engage them, right? Why not engage them to take our experience, cooking experience, to the home cooks, right? So we actually engaged. We asked for help, right? And believe it or not, year to date, 90% of my sales comes from what I call partners. I call these individuals partners. So they come up, they sign up on a link. If you go to mycookingstory.com/partners, there's a link. You sign up at the link, and it's a partnership. You make a buck. You bring in a buck by offering this cookware to a home cook, and then we share that. For your effort, you get rewarded. So we just trial that to kind of make sure. Again, at every level, I believe in serving, right? So partners are the second level that we serve. So we want to make sure that they are comfortable. They know what they're doing. Also, they're actually offering the relevant information to the relevant parties, right? All of this. So now we've actually done it. It's been about 4 months we've done this. We've got about 33 partners. Now we're actually going to go out there, scale it up, right? So this is actually a call out to anyone watching also, that if you're a cook, then come on board. We've got something for you. If you're passionate and if you're in between jobs, come to us as well. Help us out, and we can help you as well, right? It's a win-win situation. So it's the partner program, right?
Wonderful.
Okay, we really need to take a quick break. So we're gonna take a short break from Tech Talk, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this summit called the Bounce Back Summit. Share a little bit because it's gonna go live actually in a couple of days on Wednesday. So I'm gonna show you a very quick little teaser on the Bounce Back Summit. This is a charity. Basically all these global speakers like Jamie Andrew and Chester Elton and Immaculée and Jack Canfield, the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, they all volunteered their time to teach at the summit, and 100% of all proceeds are going to go back to charity. So you join this summit. It's a 1-year summit. So over 1 year, you will hear all these speakers and more. And more interestingly is that every single dollar is 500 ringgit or $120 to attend the whole year, all inclusive pass. 100% of that goes to charity. So let's just watch this quick teaser.
And I was burned almost to death. 60% of my body burned. You'd never want to experience that.
Well, the pressure's really on now for John Register from the USA. 5.57, the mark to beat.
It is your choice to jump.
The best thing that ever happened to David was Goliath.
Ask not what happens to you, but what can you learn from those situations that's going to make you even stronger, that is going to make you even smarter.
Because the person has to make that individual commitment themselves.
Less for self, more for others, and enough for all.
So there you have it. The Bounce Back Summit will be there. You go to this bouncebacksummit.org and you are able to sign up. 100% of everything goes to charity. So with that, let's get back to Tech Talk Friday. And today we have with us a super guest. We have Khalid Gibran, who's joining us with Karamjit Singh. So Khalid and Karam, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you guys with us. So there's a quick promo for Bounce Back Summit, and again, it's exciting because you got global guys, you got access to Nicole and a whole bunch of other things. For 500 ringgit, which is 100% claimable from HRDF.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's 100% claimable from HRDF. So all that money goes to charity. We're gonna go to a quick segment now, but there are a couple more questions that are coming. Jaisuk has a lot of questions. One is interesting targeting marketing, but how different are you versus the big guys, which also has the same stuff you're offering. She's also asking about competition. What's your competition like that? And another quick question from Bunar is, can you share how you structure your workforce and your day-to-day operations? So Khalid, maybe in about, I don't know, a minute or so, if you can try to answer these questions. And of course, there's a guy called Gunjan Chowdhury, who says hi to you. So say hi, Gunjan. Okay, so with that, the question on competition, the question on Lazada and Shopee, they sell the same stuff. So what's the big deal? And how do you structure your organization to be optimized?
Right. So Lazada, Shopee, great marketplaces. My missus is on it every day. We I see on my credit card statement a lot of Lazada, Shopee, right? So it's fantastic. So big fan. But we're not selling anything. We are absolutely not selling anything. We're actually here to give a pleasurable experience to home cooks, and we're very specific. We're all about home cooks. That's why I call it a targeted marketplace. We're not a marketplace, right? I hope that answers your question. Competition, I don't believe in competition. I've never believed in competition. My fifth baby, 5 months old, his name is Zayden. Zayden in Arabic means abundance. I believe God's given everything in abundance. And the best approach, especially in times of crisis, is collaboration, right? I'll give you an example. So for instance, I've got a kitchenware site, right? The wholesale kitchenware suppliers are suffering. So I've actually approached the other two wholesale suppliers to see whether they'd like to write on my platform. So that's collaboration. That's where, the competition doesn't exist. If you're worried about competition, there's something wrong with you fundamentally. So what's the last one?
There's a challenge. I mean, Gunjan says, no way. Competition can be disruptive and unpredictable, right? So how I mean, he's challenging that there is going to be, I mean, it is something that you should be thinking about. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So very, very interesting. I mean, when I don't believe in competition, I'm not sure how disruptive it's been in my life. To be really honest. But again, just one thing though, if you're in the mindset of serving, and if you're really passionate about serving that group, no matter what, that group's going to stick with you because they really truly understand you're working from inside out. You're not into, only into this, but you're working inside out. So, I mean, that's why I don't believe in competition.
I just want to have a quick last question. I mean, you made this quote, 1 + 1 doesn't equal to, if 1 + 1 doesn't equal to 5, I'm not getting into it. And, it's part of your business philosophy, I think. Talk us through that.
Okay, it's personal.
It's family planning, 1 + him and the wife, and then you go 5. So
I see.
Actually, Karan's right. My mission, my target was 5. I've achieved it, right? So now let's move on. Now, sorry. So it's a personal thing as well. When you and I want to live a 10x life, and I have lived a 10x life, personally and professionally. Mostly personally. And so, every relationship, I'm a big believer in networking and collaboration, right? So networking is not just having people following you, right? Tom, Dick, and Harry following you, right? A network for me, when you want to attach to my universe, when you want to come into my universe, you and I together, we should enjoy 5, right? 1 + 1 = 5. So when we get together, whatever that happens has to be a massive bang. If not today, we set the groundwork or the foundation for a massive bang tomorrow or in the next few years, right? Otherwise, you're wasting life hanging around and having coffee.
Fantastic. Okay.
Is that why you said that to work, if anybody who works with you says that you're on the A word?
Okay. I mean, most people think it, or they say it, or some of them don't say it. They think I'm an asshole to work for, right? Because let me put it positively, right? Everyone, they can attest to it. Anyone who's worked for me or who's working for me, if they give me 1 year of their life, they will gain 10 years worth of experience. And wow. I promise you, only because I believe that if I get a guy and I believe that his strength is in social media, he would come on, he would easily know what he's doing. But his biggest challenge is the workload. Number one, workload. And number 2 is, I've always said, I think I was saying to Karam, the social media company said to me, Khalid, great, we've doubled, average is 1%, we've got 2.11. And I'm going, shit, guys, next month we've got to do 4. I'm not sure why we're not doing 4. Tell me how we can do 4. So it's like, it's like F you, Khalid. But then they go away, they do it because I'm a client or I'm the boss. and then they benefit from it. And they come and say, "Shit, Khalid, you're right." Right.
All right. So David agrees with you. We've got about a minute or so. I want to do the quick challenge before we go to Karam's top 4 tech stories of the day. So
do I get a prize? Do I get a prize?
You absolutely get a prize. And Karam promises to deliver the prize personally. So part of it is he provides a part of his beard commemorating that you get to keep in.
I'm dropping. I got enough.
Get it for charity, Roshan.
Yeah, man.
After bounce back.
Yeah, that's the next event. Is Shop Karam. Buy a part of Karam. Every part of the beard is $1,000 US. So we got to test the guest challenge, and you got like about a minute and a half to answer 5 questions. So I'm gonna go quickly, and you can only pass once to Karam. Okay, so you've got 5 questions. You have to answer at least 4. If not, you don't get your prize. Okay, first question. If you had a time machine and it could change one thing in the past, what would it be and why?
I wouldn't get married so many times.
All right, sounds good. What food do you think comes closest to tech?
What food? Chicken biryani.
Chicken biryani. That's like technology, So chicken biryani is technology.
It's complicated. I can make a 3-tier chicken biryani. It's a Pakistani chicken biryani. Yes.
There you go. 3-tier chicken biryani. That's like almost coding, in 3 layers. All right. If you could switch your profession without any consequence, what would it be? And
home cook.
Home cook. Yeah, almost there, right? I mean, you're doing that sort of in a way. Okay, so you're living your dream. Name one person you'd like to switch lives with right now. Anyone?
Ooh, Karam.
Because of the beard, right? It must be the beard.
Oh man, okay.
I'd love to know what it's like.
Bad choice, man. That's living life minus 2x. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You just say you want to live like 10x. I would think you say Ginsburg.
I'll change. Can I change my mind? Can I change my mind? I'm going to Russian now.
Oh, Russian.
That's a good cop out. Okay. Was having 5 kids always part of the plan?
No, it just happens. God gives. I say thank you.
Life happens. All right, there you go. So with that, we'll go to the man himself, Karam, with his top tech stories. Top 4 tech stories. Khalid, we'll get you back in a second. So we'll bring you back to the studio in about 5 minutes or so. So give Karam a couple minutes, 4 minutes, 1 minute per story. So we'll see you back shortly. Karam, your top 4 tech stories. Let's talk about MDAC and Data Kita.
Yeah.
Right?
So look, I think for some people would remember that MDAC had launched a big data initiative when Yasmin Mahmood was the CEO, and it's called ADEX, right? Asian Data Exchange. And the idea was to make Malaysia the hub for Southeast Asia in terms of data professionals, okay? And they had a target of actually trying to hit 10,000 data scientists even. So of course, we are far from 10,000 data scientists, but I think we've got a fair amount of data professionals, okay? Data professionals means you're a data executive, you're a data manager, of course, you're a data scientist. So these are the levels there. So now that for some reason after that that initiative has died down, today they've just launched Data Kita. Kita is the Malay word for us. So it means our data. And this is really actually to help Malaysia become a data-driven economy, all right? They've got 4 pillars, and you can read the article. Just launched today. There's 4 pillars. One is knowledge, right? Which is promoting data literacy. Then you're talking about infrastructure, which is a data-driven environment, the ecosystem. Talent, which is easy, right? And you've also got action. Action is interesting, right? They are trying to accelerate the adoption of AI and data into enterprises in the country. So that is one initiative just launched today. And by the way, in conjunction with the launch, they also have got a conference going on. It's called datakita.pulse. And actually at 8:30, the conference is on till tonight. There's actually a panel session at 8:30. I'm going to go and attend it. I'm not going. I'm going to log into it at 8:30 to listen to Ashran Ghazi, who's the former CEO of Magic, right? He's running a company called Detel now. So I highly urge you to go and check that out with me.
Okay, great. So that's an interesting initiative by MDAC. Hopefully there's some nice benefits for data players. From that initiative. Malaysian hyperscale to mop up Singaporean data center spillover.
Yeah. So this is good. This is a Malaysian company which is a very entrepreneur-run, CC Puan, right? And we'll get him on the show one day. So CC Puan owns a stake in G3 Global and Green Packet. So basically, G3 Global is now making a big play to be a data center player. They're talking about hyperscale. So hyperscale means the definition of hyperscale is you're offering data centers on a big scale. Think about Amazon Web Services, think about Microsoft, think about Google and Apple. So this is beautiful. A local, this Khalid is talking about X5 impact, right? So really, CC1 and they are going for that. They're aiming big. And the strategic reason, the timing is just good because Singapore right now is the clear leader in data centers in Southeast Asia. But the government has now initiated a moratorium. They are not taking any more data center players because they've got too much, going on, and they don't have the land for that. So there's an opportunity for Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia looking at it. Malaysia through CC1 and GT Global want to grab that opportunity. They've partnered with Tencent Cloud. Lots of interesting things going on. And by the way, I think I told you the last time, or maybe not. By the end of December, they want to hire 100 tech people. So go check out the LinkedIn profile of GT Global and Green Packet, and you may able to find yourself a job there.
Yep. So you're a tech guy. There's lots of job coming up. And then there's 2 new board members.
No, not board members. They have actually they're committed. Yeah, they created 2 board committees, right? And one is on governance and ethics, and the other one is on technology and innovation. Very interesting. Apparently, MDEC never had these 2 board committees before. So the CEO, the chairman, who when I say CEO is almost acting like the CEO, right? Dr. Rais Hussain. He's introduced these two also at the board level to oversee, not just oversee, to further drive the governance, into the DNA of MDEC, and to drive innovation and technology into everything that MDEC does.
Okay,
so this is very interesting. Yeah, and I told people that 6 months from now, I'm gonna go and see Dr. Rais, right, and do a story on how after 6 months the progress has gone. And by the way, teaser for everyone. Next Friday, Dr. Rais Hussain has agreed to be a guest on Tech Talk. So you can prepare your questions. And
so he's coming on Tech Talk. So Chairman of MDEC coming on Tech Talk. Fantastic.
Yeah, next Friday.
Fest happening right now. I was in a couple of I was moderating a panel and doing some stuff on happening in Penang. So talk us through Tech Fest.
Actually finished already. So the conference is 3 days. It just finished today, probably this evening, and we actually wrote about they invited the futurists. And I actually, I'm annoyed by futurists because they talk about all these bombastic and great things, right? And they rely on you for getting 99.9% of what they said 6 months down the road. So they can never be wrong. Anyway, this lady, Nancy Giordano, says that the world is not headed into the 4th Industrial Revolution, which Dr. Rais Hussain thinks it is, but rather we're heading towards the first productivity revolution. So another thing these futurists like to do is coin new phrases. So apparently we're heading into the productivity revolution, and we have to think differently, Roshan, about productivity and how we distribute it. And you got to form uncommon partnerships. You got to embrace change to navigate the unknown, and blah 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 blah. So it's kind of interesting. Really, we did a story because I thought it's interesting, lah. So I don't mean any disrespect by saying blah blah. It is kind of interesting. Just that I'm a skeptic, lah, when it comes to.
And last week we had Dato Sean Shah and the couple of guys on our show, which basically Yuan. Yeah. So that's that. We're gonna just take another quick 30-second break. We're gonna have a quick look at Nicole, our sponsor for the show. So here's Nicole. And there you have it, Nicole. And there's a special promo, my name with lead 30, and you get 30% off Nicole. So that's exciting new development. We're gonna bring back Khalid back to the show. Khalid, welcome back to the show. We'll give him some time to put on his specs, and he's back. So there you have it. He's almost yawning listening to Karam.
What?
That's okay. We wait and we are patient, and we bring you back in the studio at the appropriate time, so you're not wearing clothes with the apron, or clothless without an apron, cooking in the foray. Khalid, just quick reaction. For the 4 stories. I mean, any thoughts from you? Yeah, that strike you. And No.
Man, just to let you know, I mean, I'm not from the tech world. I think I made that very clear. For me, it's a means to an end.
Yep.
Absolutely, I'm out there serving targeted markets and people with needs, and whatever that I need to use, I'll use. So if there
Yeah.
is a technology out there, sorry, one other thing though that's of interest right now that we're exploring is augmented reality. So you might see us around this time next year. Most of our products will be like
We
people
are.
can play with it on our e-com site. So that's something interesting.
Nice,
Well,
nice.
I was just in a couple of conversations, a couple of Korean companies who was telling about AR, VR, and then they introduced this new concept called MR. So I was like, "What's MR?" He says,
Mixed
"Mixed
reality.
reality." Mix everything. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." So it's just today because the Korea is having their tech festival right now, and
You should have told them that in Malaysia, mixed reality, we call it RM. What is RM? Rojak reality.
yeah. Or Rojak reality. But I learned a couple of things. One interesting insight from you, Khalid, was home cooking secret sauce is love. So Karam, when you cook, throw a bit of love into the cooking, and it'll taste much better. I
I
also
go
picked
for speed, man. Speed, get it done as soon as possible.
Right. So Karam,
Guys,
Karam's not going to be don't eat Karam's food. Okay. So value equals price, quality, and relevance. And I like that.
Relevant.
And again, your website, mycookingstory.com. Thanks for sharing that. My quote, Kellen Keller's life is either daring adventure or nothing. Live life 10x. Actually, 10x is from a book, right? By Andrew Grove. It's a tech, the one of the first tech leaders in the world from Intel. So he's the guy who transformed Intel, and he came up with this whole concept of 10x. And he said 10x, and he called it a growth inflection point. It's one of my early books that I read. It's called Only the Paranoid Survive.
Okay.
And that book talks about the 10x, 10x, everything 10x. 10x life, 10x growth, 10x this. And he wrote the book in the 80s or late 80s, I think, early 90s. So that's an interesting concept. We talk about the 10x growth. So thanks a lot for that. And as always, let me see if there's any other comments. I mean, a lot of people are saying hi to you. Hi, Khalid, from Angela.
Just the 10x, just to explain to people in simple terms, it's all about doing things that are scalable. Do you know what I mean? So, anything you do, whether it's personal or professional, make sure that it's scalable, right? And sustainable.
Yeah. So Kyril says, hi, boss. Thanks. Nice sharing, boss. And when they say boss, they're all Malaysians. So that's our way of saying hello. Hi, boss. No, with that, I want to end with, of course, thanks for your statements. I want to end with, of course, the man himself. The final thoughts from the beard. I'm not sorry from Karam. So Karam, wrap up this long show. It's 52 minutes, so let's ramble less and let's close this show out. So your final thoughts, Karam.
No, I think Khalid, as an old economy guy, shows how you can actually relatively quickly move to digital, right? And the opportunities are there, and the expertise is there. He's just using his management, experience to lever the digital partners to get them to do more and asking the right questions. He seemed to be able to ask and demand more, right? And that's interesting. And you've got all the relationship, subject matter expertise, and he's able to connect the dots also. Imagine that I think Commerce.Asia came up with this thing, right? Cooking product went up by 800%. And he said, hey, that's us, right? Why aren't we doing anything? Otherwise, they could have just been stable, only waiting for the thing to be over. And he shows his ability to connect the dots also. Hey, let's do something. So seize the opportunity. For a lot of you out there, if you're in the brick and mortar world and maybe you're not an entrepreneur, you're a professional, also look for opportunity because your existing skill set is valuable, right? Leverage on it. Don't underestimate it. Don't think that it's a skill set for the whole economy. It's not. Nice. It's possible.
Right. And with that, we wrap up our show. Final little spiel, call out. As you know, Leronomics is doing a Series A right now on Funnel. So if you have 2,500 ringgit to spare and want to be a shareholder to control me and whatever I do, go out to Funnel and make that investment today. We're doing an ECF with Funnel. So with that, thank you so much. Still a lot of comments coming in from different people. Thanks for your comments. Continue to remember every Friday, 7 p.m., Tech Talk Friday. Khalid, thank you so much for being on our show. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our show. Have a great, fantastic weekend, everyone. Take care. And this has been Tech Talk Friday. We will see you next week, same time, same place, here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Tech Talk Friday. Good night, everyone. Have a super weekend.